Hi, and welcome to a sharp episode of the Shomer Show. These really ain't going to be reviews, it's just kind of going to be me telling stories about this stuff. Right here is one of the Sog Tomahawks, and I really like this. Me and my boys went up to one of the big box stores up in Lawton and picked this out. We didn't really know what we wanted, but we knew we wanted a new toy for the weekend, and this is what we got. And I don't know if this is like the Sog Tactical or Tactical Light or something like that. But anyways, I just call it a Sog Hawk. And it's made by Sog. And it's pretty sharp. This could be sharper. I have sharpened this back a little bit, but right now it's pretty dull. This has been super duper fun. I've seen several videos where they broke the handles, but my handles held up pretty good, and we've cut a lot of stuff with it. But this is a fun little toy. I mean, I'm not necessarily being like, oh, I'm going to get into a tomahawk fight and I'm going to bring him a tomahawk. But if I did have to get into a tomahawk fight, I think I'd fight with this tomahawk. But moving on. Right here is a knife that my brother gave me a year or so back. And there's absolutely zero anything special about this knife. It's rusty, it's cheap, it's kind of a Bowie-ish knife. It's called the Whitetail Cutlery. And then you see the handles it's a cheaper done laminate. There's little gaps here and here. Now the wood's pretty, it is, but you know, you can tell it was probably a $10 or $15 Walmart knife. But the edge holds up really good on it, and I'm just going to end up sticking it in one of the bug out bags or everyday carry bags or some type of bag that I'm going to do. I'm going to clean this knife up and it will serve a purpose. And also my boys love playing with this knife, and in one of our videos we did a week or so ago, I used this to clear out a ton of briar. So and it's just not, but to tell you the truth, you know, the knife is what it is, and it's just a cheap old knife, but it ended up fitting this old sheath really well. And this is a K-bar sheath, and this is probably a 1970s K-bar that came in it. Where the knife is at, I don't know. Me and my brothers probably beat it to a pulp and left it in a ditch somewhere. And I do remember it was a bigger K-bar. It was black. The metal was frosted black and had a black leather handle on it. But the sheath is well worn. It is comfortable to wear on your belt, being that it is broke in. And this knife fits it like a glove. So there's this, and you know, like I said, this will be finding its way into one of our, I don't know, backpacks. But here's a knife that I did rediscover, and I'll tell you a little story here real quick. I went over to my mom and dad's house, and they're reaching the age where they're starting to want us to take our stuff from whenever we were kids home with us, because they're sick of putting up with it, and they just kind of trying to clean the house out a little bit. So I was in my bedroom, and I found this knife. I was probably, I don't know, between 12 and 14 when I got this knife. My brother got stationed in Maryland while he was in the Army. And he hadn't been gone so long that he still wasn't worried about stuff like Christmas. You know, he wanted to know what we wanted for Christmas and stuff like that. It was going to be one of his first Christmases away from home. So I told him I wanted a really big knife. Well, he was living in Maryland at the time, and he's like, I don't know if I can get a really big knife because they got some like 3-inch knife laws and stuff like that up in there. But I think that's for like carrying on you. I mean, you can buy knives and stuff like that. Even back in them days, you could too. But, you know, how I was talking about how this sheath is well broke in, this sheath isn't. And not that it's not a bad sheath, it's just nowhere near as comfortable to carry as this sheath. But this knife is a Crkt. I got it a long time ago, probably somewhere between 92 and 94. And I didn't even know Crkt had been a company that long, and I really haven't looked up anything on it yet. But this knife held up really good because I didn't do much cutting or sawing with it. But this knife, for several years, did nothing but dig clay because I was into clay sculpture whenever I was, you know, young teenager all the way up into my 20s, well into my 20s. And this was a knife that I dug most of the clay out with for most of those years. And it is the Seal Tac 2. So if anybody knows anything about this knife, go ahead and let us know, because I know very little about it other than I got it and all I did with it was dig up dirt. I did beat on the handle, and the handle does take beating pretty well. This is, I'm going to assume, aluminum. I mean, it is metal, and it is a softer metal because it did mar up, but it's definitely not steel because this knife is really light. And I don't know the ounces and stuff on it, but I mean, it's lighter than this knife, and it's substantially bigger. But now that I've rediscovered this knife, I think it's really cool. And you know, for all the abuse I put it through, it just has 1 or 2 or 3 little rust spots. There's a couple right there, and there's a few right along in there. But this was a frosted metal as well, but it's polished out quite a bit, you know, from just being, you know, used to dig dirt. But here's this knife. Now for a knife review. We have the Camillus Task, and it says that it is titanium bonded, made out of 440 stainless steel. It is an assisted open knife with a seatbelt cutter and a glass breaker, and the handle is glass-filled nylon. I got it in my pocket, and right here it is. And I'm carrying this knife right now because I generally carry the Kershaw Kuro, and I really love that knife, but I've misplaced it, lost it. I'm hoping it'll turn back up again. If not, I'll be rebuying it. But I don't like this knife at all. It's heavy. It's clunky. It gets hung up on everything. And it doesn't have any real kitchen use for it. You can't chop because the belly on the blade doesn't, you know, go all the way down. So it has 0 chopping skills. You know, other than like rope cutting, which you do down here, I mean, this is the part that you use for any kind of like kitchen applications or most stuff, really, even. And, you know, it's adequate at best. It's definitely not good. I mean, even for like peeling, you know, if you're wanting to use it like a paring knife, it just, the blade's too thick and it digs in. You can't even really peel potatoes very well with it. Haven't tried out the seatbelt cutter or the glass breaker because I don't got a lot of spare seatbelts laying around or spare windshields to break. But yeah, this knife is a total letdown, and I'm glad that I didn't pay money for it because, you know, it was just a re-gifted gift to me. But now that I'm knifeless, I've been carrying this around. And the handle is somewhat painful. As you can see, it has a pretty aggressive texture on it, but on the edges, I mean, it's pointed, you know, and this is where your hand's at. And I mean, it doesn't just bite into my hand, but you can see the seatbelt cutter is going into my hand right there. And then all this stuff right here is going into my fingers. And along with all this rough stuff on the back is going into the back of my hand as well. But I mean, I'm not one looking for a knife fight, but I dang sure wouldn't bring this to a knife fight. And then I thought it was really interesting that the Camillus, their little logo that they stick on the clips on the back, is a framing nail. So, it is what it is, but this is 2 thumbs way down. That's a Such little thing right there, but 2 thumbs way down for the Camillus Task. Thanks for watching the Shomer Show.